You want to know how to be the woman he can't replace? The kind of woman who stays in his mind long after the messages stop. The kind of woman who, even if he's with someone new, still shows up in the spaces between his silence. The one he compares everyone to, even if he'd never admit it out loud. It starts in the moment most women lose themselves. It starts when he begins to drift, when the attention fades, when the energy changes, when the communication becomes inconsistent. And instead of panicking, instead of texting, explaining, chasing, you pause, you breathe, you observe. Because being unforgettable isn't about fighting harder to be seen. It's about knowing who you are when someone stops looking. That's the moment most women break. That's when they beg. That's when they bend. That's when they betray themselves just to hold on to something that's already slipping away. But the woman he can't replace? She doesn't fight for attention. She commands it, by refusing to abandon herself. You want to live in a man's mind forever? Then stop trying to live in his phone. Stop trying to live in his schedule. Start living in his memory. Burn into his psyche not with desperation, but with dignity. Not with your presence, but with your absence handled like a woman who knows exactly who she is. Because that's the truth no one tells you. The more you try to hold on, the easier it is to forget you. And the easier it is for him to forget you too. Let him pull away. Let him go cold. Let him get quiet. Because the more calm you remain in the face of his emotional withdrawal, the more powerful your image becomes in his mind. Not because you're playing games, not because you're being manipulative, but because you are choosing not to play small. And let's be clear, you don't become unforgettable by reacting. You become unforgettable by refusing to overextend for someone who gives you less than you deserve. He cancels plans last minute? You don't blow up. You don't guilt trip. You simply don't make time again so easily. He goes cold for days? You don't punish him with words. You don't lecture. You just pull back your warmth, not to hurt him, but to protect yourself. He sends a weak, low-effort message after disappearing. You don't reward it with excitement. You match it with stillness. That discipline, that restraint, that is the stuff obsession is made of. Because here's what most women don't realize. It's not just about how you make a man feel when you're around. It's about how he feels when you leave. And if your absence brings him peace, he never cared. But if your absence disturbs his soul, you've already won. But it's not a game. It's not manipulation. It's the natural consequence of a woman who finally decided that her love is not a currency to be traded for scraps. You want to be irreplaceable? Then you have to become deeply rooted in your standards, not the ones you post on Instagram, the ones you live by when no one's watching, when no one's calling, when no one's showing up. And that means you stop asking questions like, why did he change? Why did he stop trying? What did I do wrong? And you start asking, why am I tolerating emotional laziness? Why am I overcompensating for someone else's inconsistency? Why am I making excuses for someone who clearly stopped showing up? The moment you switch that focus, you stop being the woman who begs for answers, and you become the woman who becomes the answer. You become the closure. You become the peace. You become the proof that self-respect is louder than love given to the wrong person. And let me tell you something real. He will notice. He might not say it. He might pretend like he doesn't care. He might even distract himself with someone new. But deep down, he'll feel the absence of your energy. Because your energy was intentional. Your love was real. Your presence was felt. And now it's gone. And no matter how many replacements he tries to find, he'll never find your essence again. Because it wasn't just your beauty. It wasn't your body. It wasn't how much you gave or how patient you were. It was how you carried yourself even when everything in you wanted to fall apart. It was how you didn't fight for a place in someone's life who was actively pushing you out. It was how you didn't chase, didn't beg, didn't shrink. And now that you're gone, he sees the difference. He remembers the depth. He remembers the safety of your energy. He remembers the way you didn't try to manipulate his love, but also didn't tolerate his confusion. And he knows he will never find that again. So here's the truth. You don't become unforgettable by trying to be perfect. You become unforgettable by becoming untouchable to the things that once broke you. The woman he can't replace is the one who became a mirror, not a follower. She mirrored his energy when he was inconsistent. She mirrored his effort when he became distant. But she never lowered her value in the process. She never fought for the version of him that only existed in her hopes. She faced the reality, and she responded with silence, not submission. And that silence, it echoes in his mind. Every time he laughs with someone new, he remembers that your laughter had depth. Every time he feels a shallow connection, he misses the weight of your presence. Every time he's alone, he wonders if he mistook your strength for detachment, when it was really just maturity. He thought he had time. He thought you'd always be there. He thought you were just like the rest, until you weren't. And now that he finally sees it, it's too late. You've evolved. You've healed. You've risen. Not because of him, but in spite of him. And that version of you, that new, grounded, radiant, self-loving version of you, she's even more unforgettable than before. Because now you don't just carry beauty, you carry boundaries, you carry wisdom, you carry emotional discipline. And that is the kind of woman that most men pray to find, but very few are strong enough to keep. So let this be your standard from now on. If a man wants you, let him show up. Let him earn it. Let him rise to meet you. But if he falls short, if he goes cold, if he forgets your value, don't remind him with your words. Remind him with your distance. Remind him with your peace. Remind him with your silence. That's how you become the woman he never forgets. Not the one who gave him everything hoping he'd stay, but the one who gave him a chance, and then walked away when he showed her she deserved more. He will remember you, not for how much you chased, not for how long you stayed, but for how quietly you left. And years from now, when he's with someone else, when he's scrolling through his phone, when he hears a song that reminds him of a moment, he'll feel that tug, that ache, and he won't be able to explain it. But it'll be you, not because you haunted him, but because you healed yourself, because you never came back, because you became the kind of woman who no longer waits to be seen. She sees herself, and that is something no man can ever unfeel.